Wow.
That lady is awesome, isn't she? Yeah. Woo, let's give her another hand. Well, we've come to a very exciting part of our program tonight. Is everybody ready? He is a speaker. He is an MC. He's a trainer. And he's going to speak on big idea. Now what? I introduce to some and present to others, Mr. Eric.
All right.
Thank you. Eric Morton, that's my name. Now, we know you entrepreneurs out there, you have big ideas. What do you do about them? How many of y'all have good ideas, big ideas for your business, and you want to do something about them? What are some of the things you think you got to consider doing? One of the first things you may want to do is, A, if you have a new idea that you've come up with, you want to start protecting that idea as soon as you can. You want to start documenting, putting it down in a journal. And you all have seen journals, you go, how about diaries? How many of y'all have had a diary out there before? Well, you want to use a journal that's very similar to that. And the reason being is that if you ever have to get challenged for it in court, and we do have an attorney in here that can back up what I'm saying, that you have to be sure that your documentation has been there, and they want to see that you haven't gone back and added pages here and there. So you want to have it in a journal. And you want to be sure that you write in that journal everything about your business, everything that you're thinking about, who's going to supply your business, what are you going to charge for your business, what are you going to call it, who's your competition, who are you going to be selling to. These are the things that you've got to definitely consider when you get ready to do it. And you start off with protecting your idea. Now that you've gotten past protecting it, what's the next thing you want to do? You want to do some research about who you're going to be competing against. And the majority of us will say, hey, I got something, there's nobody out there that's doing it. Yeah, but guess what? You may have indirect competition out there. How many of you all have been hurt in this economy by, you say, where's the money at? Where's the money going? You think it's just your competition? Or have you been taken over and been fighting against other people indirectly? You follow me? Indirect competition. For example, you know, Honda and Ford are car dealerships, right? They both are competing in the automotive industry, correct? Well, you also have Bentley that's competing with Rolex. And you say, well, why is that? Because they're after that high-end customer that can spend $100,000 on a car. So you understand how different an industry can be, so you can have competition that's direct and indirect. So that's just something for you to think about with your idea that you're thinking about. So go into the protection. Then you start looking at your competition. Then you start looking at who are you marketing to, and be very clear about it. Who is going to buy your product? Who buys similar products on the market? Okay? These are the things that you have got to do to better develop your idea. And you need to be using innovation, because believe me, sometimes good ideas can fight the big boys and knock them out. Any of you all ever heard of Netflix? Well, who did Netflix knock out the box first? Hollywood Videos, gone. Why? They use technology to reach out to their customers, and they pretty much, Hollywood Video had to get out of it. And guess what it forced Blockbuster Video to do? To do the same kind of business. Now that's innovative. And that's the things you got to be considering when you're looking at your new ideas that you're doing. Even if you're going to grow a new part of your business. New taxes. Taxes haven't been, we've only been able to probably start what? Electronic filing how long ago, Tracy? About 10 years, maybe? 10 years. But you see how innovation has come in? They use the technology.
First year you have to file electronic.
See, you hear that? First year you have to file, but just understand, that wasn't an option a few years ago. So even your businesses have to be innovative. Your ideas need to be fully developed. And then you have to start looking at how you're going to operate your business. And now we have things such as technology that can help us out to make our businesses more efficient, more effective. They can be greener. These are the things that you've got to consider based on any idea that you come up with. Because guess what? You're going to compete with somebody, directly or indirectly. You just want to be chosen over them. So that's one thing you have to consider even when you're marketing. How can I reach those customers better than my competitors? How can I do it? Am I visible enough for them? Location. It counts, but it's not everything. Because nowadays, a lot of us in here, we're not paying for bad service anymore. We can be picky now. We can be real picky now. So you need to think about that and consider that in your business. If you're looking at providing a service such as like Stevie said, ask my boyfriend. Does she have a means to say, oh, okay, she's got customer service set up? If you're doing an online business, have you looked at your website and seen how it works? All of these things, you got to take the time to go back and really refine it, because you're competing with the world out here. Please believe you are. Don't think just because you go online, I got a bunch of customers. No, you don't. If you don't have traffic coming, you're just online. You can sit here all day, and I bet you can ask Miss Steen, she can sit here all day, but if nobody knows she has a salon over here, there's some people that can pass by here for years, and not know she's here. So you've got to be very marketable to the people that you're trying to reach, be very visible to them so that they can see that you're out here, and bring them to yourself. But be sure that you refine your product, your service, your business to a T. Get your business plan. Do your business plan yourself. I know everybody's like, oh my God, I don't want to do that. Guess what? Then you don't want to be in business. Because you know what? When you're getting ready to try to go get some money from the banks or investors, guess who's going to present it? You are. And if there's a question about it, they're not going to want to hear about, well, you know, I paid my man Joe over there $250 and he put it together. No, because guess what? If he's not listed in your management, they're going to ask you. Tomorrow there's a show coming on called Shark Tank. Anybody seen the Shark Tank last year? If you want to know something about ideas and get with investors, I advise you to please watch it. Watch how these people with money push back on these people with these great ideas. They let them know. Some of them undeveloped. Some of them, they're not worth the risk. That's based upon what these people are saying. But mind you, your customers always say what the market is. The market tells you what your product can bear. So don't just take it from Mark Cuban, who might be up there tomorrow that, I know I'm a billionaire, I don't really like the idea. You know what? That's fine, because guess what? There have been several people that have walked out of there that didn't even, after they got the exposure, they didn't want the money from the investors. So please get a chance. Look at Shark Tank. You'll learn some valuable lessons, especially if you're looking at putting a new idea out there. Because they're going to ask you, they're going to bang you about your financials, they're going to ask you about your market size, they're going to ask you about your costs, because why? These are the things that it takes to run a business. So if you're interested or getting ready to start a business, you've got to consider all of the costs. You got to consider your overhead, especially if you're in a hard location like this. I know Miss Steen can tell you, a heartfelt, she'll tell you, man, burning these lights in here ain't cheap. You understand it? And this is what you have to consider if you're going to look at a location. Even if you're going to do a franchise, even like what Tracy was saying. One of the things I'm sure Tracy would tell you, your location is very key. And I'm sure it's probably a huge part of selecting where you're going to put that business at. Because I'm like her. She's not going to put a business that she doesn't think is going to be in a high traffic area to get people to come in and use it. And then on top of that, you still got to market to them.
We provide the location for the franchise owners too.
Oh, okay. Right. But it's definitely a focus part of you giving them that franchise. And okay, the location is it. So these are the things that we have to talk about if we're going to launch new businesses, if we're going to launch new ventures. We've got to look at it. All of these things. Your market size, your product. Where's your product going to be made? Where is it made? Y'all been hearing something they talking about bringing jobs back to America?
Mm-hmm.
You've been hearing that on the news?
Yeah.
They're doing something called what? Made in America. And it's been having a huge effect because why? We finally figured out we don't need everything made in China.
Come on now.
We finally figured it out. We need to make some things here because guess what we have found out? When you send all the jobs over there, all the stuff we want to sell, you ain't got nobody that wants to buy it. They can't buy it. So what do we got to do? We got to get more innovative. We got to start bringing the jobs back here to our country so we can basically start to feed our families and start having the type of quality of life that we see here. So these are the things you got to think about. And I'm not saying you don't use the stuff from overseas because believe it or not, we get a lot of parts for our cars that are assembled in America. Okay? And then finally, you better consider how green is your business? Did you know that you're going to have to be, you may be asked, do you have a green certificate for your business? They may ask you, do you have a recycling program for your tax company? Do you have a conservation program for your law office? These are green certificates. These are green ratings that they have. And if you think, you ever heard of somebody called Walmart? Do you know that for their 10,000 suppliers, in the next 3 years, they're going to have green certification on the products that come in the store? You will be able to tell how green a product is, and you will be the educated consumer that can say, you know what, this here is made in China. I don't think I want to buy that. I think I want to buy something that was made in North Carolina. Oh yeah, it's changing. It's becoming a part of our culture, which I think it should be, because we've gone to be wasteful. We're very inefficient, ineffective with a lot of our means, but guess what's happening? Now all the cost, all the cheap labor is not the only bottom line. Our overall cost, how green our business is, how we're impacting jobs in America. This is also being green, folks. Creating jobs right here. Wouldn't you like to be a local supplier to a Walmart? Great contract. But they're going to definitely have a lot of requirements. And I would just tell you, be sure that your business plan, that you've got enough support, enough suppliers, enough materials to keep the contract, because getting it might be easy. Fulfilling it, another thing. I know. So you got to think about that. Make sure you have a green component to your business. Anybody, I know a lot of people thinking, I don't have a green component. My business is, I do cleaning service. You can use biodegradable products. Guess what? You can get green rated. Salon. You can use recycled water in here. Guess what? It'll help you get a green certificate. Recycled paper in your law firm. When you shred that stuff, you can have that paper what? Recycled.
Where do you get the green certificate from?
You have to check with the tax because what's going to happen is a lot of industries, they're coming up with their own certifications in it. And if you already start having a program, it'll be easy for you to transition in. But just consider some of the ones that are more well known. Recycling that you have, and that could be everything from your paper, your supplies, your materials. What are you doing? Like I said, green certification of your people that are supplying. Hey, we buy our paper, we buy only recycled paper. Guess what? It's making you greener. How many people got home-based businesses? You know how you can be greener at home? You ever print, you got printers at home, you print out your documents? Did you know there's a feature on there so that when you're printing those documents out that aren't really that important, you can put it on low. What does that help you do? It's conservation.
Save ink.
It's conservation. It helps you save ink, absolutely. And then what? When you finish with that cartridge, what do?
You can get a refillable.
You can get refillables, or you can even take them to the local places such as your Staples and your Home Depot, Office Depot, and what? Turn them in and get a credit, store credit on them. Oh yeah, you can be greener. Be thinking about it, because these are the things it's going to take for your business to compete. Because believe me, the green component is going to be a way that they don't do business with you. So be thinking about that, especially if you're coming up with a new business concept. Are you using enough technology in your business to be more efficient, effective? Please use it. If you, like you said, the voice messages, the thing that she's doing, she was saying that one of her co-workers was going around making sure they had instant messages. Hey, that's a green program. Anybody ever heard of McDonald's? You know how they're sustaining themselves now? Remember all that grease that all those good fries we like? You know what they're doing now? Biodiesel, putting them in their own trucks. They've already paid for the oil. They're getting another use out of it. You need to be looking at your business the same exact way. How can I make my business greener? Okay? These are the things to consider. If you're coming up with any business concept, be sure that you add a green component to it to be successful. And I'm Eric Morton. I'll be here tonight working with you guys. Got any questions, I'll be here. So I'm sure we're going to take probably about 10 minutes so we can get a chance to mingle and eat some refreshments and whatnot. So just take about 10. We'll talk.